bevo.com.
John, the finance world is changing very fast, so what do you think the future of investment banking will be, and particularly perhaps some of the pure play investment banks like Goldman Sachs?
But investment banking goes back to about 1850, when the sort of notion of investment banking was sort of Junius Morgan, City of London, and Junius Morgan defined investment banking as the sources and uses of capital and the crossroads of capital. In other words, you find capital and you redeploy it and you invest it with projects or with people or companies that need it. But the truth is, you can go back to the Medicis, you can go back to the Egyptians, you can go back to the Romans, and there was capital being reinvested into certain projects that actually produced money. So if you look at the investment banker as being the man or the woman or the institution that stand at the crossroads of capital, there is always going to be a need for an investment banker. What they're going to be doing has a lot to do with themselves being smart, nimble enough to reinvent themselves. Where is the next need going to be? Where is the next place where they can make money? And at the end of the day, it's going to be about understanding the planet and understanding the shifts of where are the new sources and the old sources of wealth and capital, and most importantly, this new word that no one knows anything about called liquidity. And then where are the places for the uses of capital? Where are they going to be invested? I know I'm sounding rather sort of pompous on this discussion, but I think people realize investment banking is not just about defining whether banks are going to be banks in the current form. They're not going to be in the current form. If they're going to survive, some of the most successful organizations. Why is Goldman Sachs so successful? Because if you look at Goldman Sachs carefully since it was founded, it's been the most astute organization at marginally, incrementally reinventing itself and always staying a step ahead of the market in a very entrepreneurial, eye-opening way, managing capital, managing risk, but also doing it in a marginally fearless fashion. They have reinvented themselves, and that's why, from a Darwinian point of view, they're still the strongest.
So do you think constant innovation and reinvention, particularly in a world that's changing so fast, is one of the key components of a great organization?
I think the reality is a good corporation and a good chairman, board, and CEO have to, first of all, clarify what is their corporate culture. And it's a terrible expression because it sounds rather old and sort of dusty. But at the end of the day, particularly in this environment, actually, most recruits are more interested in corporate culture and defining corporate culture than they are necessarily knowing what their first year's salary or total compensation is going to be. Corporate culture to them is a lot about who are the types of people they're working with, what are their values, what are their morals, what does the firm stand for. Is the firm interested in innovation? Is it interested in risk? Is it interested in managing the status quo, or is it interested in redefining the future? So there is an element of corporate culture that has to deal with both, on one level, with values, integrity, and also going back to what we talked about earlier, human dignity. Is the person respected in the workplace for their own personal talent and acumen and contribution? And at the same time, am I going to be allowed to, how much of my time is going to be spent on allowing to create or to innovate or to take some chances? I mean, people at a certain point in their life need to be thrown into the deep end of the pool. They need to be pushed out of their comfort zone, and they need to be challenged. And a lot of bright people love to be challenged. And many firms do it intentionally, as they should, to find out who can swim in 4 feet of water, who can swim in 8 feet of water, and who can swim in a very deep sea. And no two people are the same.
bevo.com